It is a wintry day in late November in the city of London, and people are going about their business. Those who are not transfixed by the latest story in the new edition of Strand magazine, in which, in a shocking twist, Sherlock Holmes has plunged to his death off the Reichenbach Falls, never to live again. This is the last story. Surely they can't come back from this. But back in the real world, with totally real investigators and none of that pulp magazine nonsense, we go over to Mr. Augustus Green, reputable businessman and lover of scones.
It's an
What
addiction.
are you up to?
Well, Mr. Augustus Green recently came back into the Esoteric Society after taking a break for his sanity in his pockets. Is getting a pang of what you might call, or what he might call, strange morality. So today he is starting the quest to find his lost friends. He flipped a coin because it was between Maddie and Franco, and it landed on Franco. So, because no one really seems to know much about Franco, he is going to go look for Franco's idiot brother, Henry, who he once did crimes with and helped out before, Henry turned his life around. So he put in a couple calls, and he probably has a line on where he can find Henry.
Oh yes, Henry could probably be found in a slightly shady-looking chop house down in the East End of London. That's where he, meets people, does dealings, tends to, business and associates. It also does quite decent food for a cheap price.
Augustus will be measuring this food against the glorious scones.
It doesn't come up to this is like Victorian equivalent of essentially cheap fast food. This is,
I understand.
yeah. It's edible. It's hot. It'll fill you up.
Well, he goes Henry hunting.
Augustus Green, isn't it?
I look up at this man.
Not seen you in forever.
Is that you, Henry?
Hey! Yeah, what else would it be?
Come here.
Oh, yeah. When was the last time you were in here?
I believe it was around the time that you had to help me out with that troublesome business.
That does not narrow it down.
The really bad troublesome business with the farm.
No, that was you helping me out?
Brother.
Years ago. Anyway, what can I do for you?
I'm looking for your brother.
Can't help you with that, I'm afraid.
You don't know where your brother is?
Not seen him for years.
Do you remember when you two go missing so much? I had to go help.
I went missing once. Twice.
Correct me again.
The cows.
No, I'm a different man. Different man. And I take a big bite of my scone. I go, so you're going to tell me, even though I told you to always know where your brother is, you don't know where he is.
No, I thought you'd know where he buggered off to France a few years ago with those, the posh folk up from Mayfair. Went off to France with them, never came back. I assume he just found some job in France. I don't know. He didn't speak French, so I don't know how that would go. But not had so much as a letter from him. Nothing. Never, not heard a word since.
You have no lead for me. Nothing. Nothing for me to go on.
I mean, old Walter, the bargeman down over the river, swore he'd seen Franco a couple of years back, but old Walter is also always drunk. And
You got an address for him? And I do actually pull out an investigator's pad.
oh, fancy. Yeah, he rattles off an address over in Wapping. Look, but he's always... Look, I wouldn't take anything Walter says at false value. He also swears he's seen a mermaid swimming around the docks, so... You know.
Do you remember that horrible thing that we saw?
No, and I don't want to.
Come here.
No. Oh, it's not about any of that stuff again. I'm done with all that stuff.
Lean in. Come here. Okay. I'm going to gently put my hands on the front of his shoulders. And I'm going to say, that stuff is real.
No. We don't talk about that stuff. Look.
Okay. Well.
I don't want to get involved in that shit, okay?
It's your brother.
I know it's... Look. As far as I know, he's off in the south of France somewhere. Hasn't bothered to write because he's, you know... That's what I want to believe, okay? Alright? Because
I don't hit you enough. I don't hit you enough.
You hit me. That is fine. Don't hit me at all. That is... Look.
You want a scone?
Not right now. Look, if my brother's alive, then he's clearly too busy doing something while I'm writing. And if he's not, then what? There's nothing I can do, and I'd rather believe that my brother is off there gallivanting across Europe, writing tales of French werewolves, or do they even have werewolves in France? I don't know.
Okay.
But
and I go back to my pen pad. I write down a couple things. And I say, look, many years ago when I first met you, I ate a charge for you and did some jail time. So I thought that you were a good kid. Okay? And you're not a bad kid. And if it helps you to believe that your brother's just too busy to write you, then I can accept that. If you didn't say that, I was probably going to backhand you into next Tuesday. But you did. So I can sheath my backhand. So this is what we're going to do. Okay? I'll be in contact with you. If I fall out of contact with you, just presume the best. Also, here's my business card. You can't afford my services because you've not done well with yourself, and I'm now a fine businessman. But I just want you to know I have a business card. That's basically what that was about. Yeah. Give it back. We'll get it to
I can't keep it. Sorry. He hands the business card back.
You could have it. Also, here's a scone. Eat the scone. It'll make you feel better.
Sort of sets it down next to the business card.
And I've put down a couple coins, a couple drinks on me. Have yourself a good night.
You too. Look, it was good to see you back here. Like,
I know
you've moved up in the world, but
yeah, now I get paid to hit people.
You're still welcome around here, as long as you don't hit me or anyone else here. Like, we don't need any more fights starting. We've had enough trouble recently, but.
Well, then you can pull your money together and hire my protection service. Clear that up for you.
Can't afford you.
I know. All right. Well, tell you what. I'll see you around the way, kid.
So, as Augustus, where are you headed off to next?
I would probably, I'd probably go look for Walter.
Okay.
Got the line.
So as Augustus heads off to look for Walter the bargeman, what is respectable diplomat Johann Wilhelm Freiherr Zutanen up to today?
Well, he's been pretty busy with politicking the last however much time we had. There's a bit of a tension in the air, and he's been reading over some letters he's gotten from an old acquaintance. Some letters from Prague. And is now, just trying to find references to something that was noted, that was informed of, some sort of brothers of the skin.
Okay. So where are you looking for these references? Where are you investigating?
Well, I would try and start with the public-facing stuff first, so just the normal libraries. If there might be some myths, some more inconspicuous mentions, and if I'm not going to find any, I'll be visiting the society and try to peruse their library.
So taking a look through the publicly accessible libraries of London, I am going to ask for a roll. And I think you can guess what this roll will be.
A failed library use roll.
A failed library use roll. Indeed. So, searching around, you're not finding anything useful or at all relevant referencing these brothers of the skin. Whoever they are, they don't seem to have made it into any of the generally published literature that you can find.
Well, I didn't expect so. I was more thinking there might be potentially something. So I'm not too miffed about it. I'll just bid the staff in the library a nice day and move towards the London Esoteric Society.
Okay. Meanwhile, respectable book dealer and nothing else suspicious Mortimer Davenport, what are you up to?
Well, I'm still not in the best of health due to that serpentine venom. So I'm probably walking with the aid of a walking stick now.
Yes, a week has passed, I think, since that incident, so you can make me a constitution roll to see if you're healing up at all from this.
We shall see. 1 second. Nope, that's a fail.
No, you are in no better shape than you were a week ago. This is quite the wound you've taken.
It was. The poison's probably still there.
Yeah.
Not managed to get rid of it. Well, I would like to visit an old friend of mine, a Dr. Victor Peterson, to see whether the serpent body has been passed to him.
I can't remember how well Mortimer knew Peterson, because I know it was Thomas was a friend of Peterson.
Oh, Thomas was really good friends. Thomas used to drink with him. Mortimer...
I think he crossed paths in the course of the werewolf investigation.
Yeah, he was quite enthusiastic about that, and he liked the fact that I was interested in this weird body, and so we knew one another, but through the society, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, you can make your way down to the bowels of the university hospital, where Dr. Victor Peterson performs his art. And
I think last time we've been discussing about the electricity as well.
Yeah, he's got some electrical experiments running in the background. Nothing bad will happen.
Of course. So, yes, I'll just knock on the door first. I'll walk in uninvited.
Who's there? Sorry, I'm just in the middle of something. Thomas, is that you?
Nope, it is Dr. Mortimer Davenport.
Oh, hang on.
From the society.
You hear a kind of wet squelching noise as something is shoved back in somewhere. And then
Yes.
Dr. Peterson comes out of the room, just wiping his hands on his apron.
The usual.
Davenport!
It's been some time since
It
I've
has been a
visited.
long time, Aisha. But you disappeared off into the ether, wherever
I had been
wherever
for
it
a
is
few
you go.
years. Yeah, had been in the East for a few years, but I've returned, and unfortunately I've not been quite well recently, as you can tell. But
You do look a bit
have
pinky.
you? Yes.
Not quite bad enough to require my attention, though.
No. Yeah, I was bitten by a venomous snake recently
Oh, out east somewhere or in London?
in London.
Wait, is this an actual? Is this a normal snake? Is this in a zoo or is this?
Oh, it wasn't a normal snake.
Of course it wasn't. Have you got the snake?
Unfortunately not. I was wondering if you did. If the body had been passed to you to check
Oh,
by Inspector Fawn recently.
that guy.
Yes.
That was you. Yeah, you come. I got him in a drawer somewhere. I'm keeping him. I don't know what to do with him really. But he's
Yes,
quite
I'd just like
interesting.
the interesting to have a better look at him.
Yeah, I mean, I was
because-
more calling him a lizard than a snake because he does have legs.
That's a very good point.
I suppose.
He had a venomous bite, which is pretty much the reason for my condition. I don't know of many lizards with a venomous bite.
Well, I'm no herpetologist, but I think there are some with quite a nasty
But, I was
bite.
hoping to have the opportunity to inspect the body further. Because,
I have sliced the dice a little bit.
that's okay. It's understandable.
I mean, it was quite fascinating. It's. I mean, this is one that.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
This is
we can
one,
talk about it.
Along the lines of. We just shove you back out the way. Here we are. This one. He goes down to a locked drawer at the bottom. I'm trying not to let too many people meddle with this one. Like with the, whole werewolf thing. It's not.
Yes,
Don't
that
wanna
was
cause a
interesting.
panic.
It is. There seems to be a number of these strange incidents cropping up recently.
Oh no, this is bigger. I mean,
Well, this.
look, it's at least 10 years ago that I first.
Well, this reptilian person here is probably the third such case I know the society's ran into over the last few years.
Oh, third more.
Yes.
Specifically lizard people.
This,
I was gonna
yes.
say, I've seen definitely more than 3 weird things that you lot have brought in.
Oh, yeah, but, I haven't been.
Yeah, well, I've, as you can see, these livers in a jar in my office somewhere. I did take the eyes out. And the teeth. The teeth are in my office drawer. I can get those if you want.
Did you happen to take a sample of the venom by any chance? If there's any.
There wasn't much venom left in them. I tried to extract it, but it doesn't seem to.
No, I think all that went into me, unfortunately.
Pity you'd not come here sooner. I could have perhaps tried to,
Well, unfortunately, I was very lucky to survive due to one of my companions' first aid, and then I treated myself, and it occurred to me to take a sample of the poison at the time. I thought I was focusing more on keeping alive.
Us. The preoccupations of the living.
But I was curious how alike this body is to, say, well, as a human.
Oh, belly. I mean, it's got the general proportions and outward appearance, but internally, completely alien. This, it doesn't bear. I mean, as I said, I'm no herpetologist. I'm no expert in these matters. I would need to find someone, but these are hard sorts of questions to ask without sounding like a madman, which many people already think I am.
Well, this is the thing. Is it madness if it's real?
Depends how many people believe it. But
That's very true.
yes, whatever this thing was, it's not a man. It's something else entirely.
Even the muscles, I suppose, those.
I mean, similar construction, but different placement.
Well,
Stronger and tougher than a man.
I was hoping it might have some sort of weakness in case we encounter another one.
I mean, from the look of this one, being stabbed seems to have been its weakness.
Yes.
So I would say knives. They have a weakness to knives.
Yes. But
Presumably guns as well.
do you think it would be resistant to heat or cold or venoms or toxins? I'm just curious.
I mean, it's very hard to tell. And I mean, if it is at all like an actual ordinary reptile, then I suppose getting it very cold wouldn't be much good for it. You know, they don't function. But the fact that it was functional at all in November in London suggests that it's a slightly more resistant to cold than your average cobra.
Yeah, perhaps it's adapted to being here. Depends how long it's been in London. But besides the stabbing, did you notice any other ailments it may have had? Whether it was suffering from some sort of poison or any foreign agents at all?
I mean, the whole thing's pretty poisonous, but I didn't. I wasn't really suspecting. It had a large stab wound in it. I'm going to be honest.
That's probably the cause of death.
Yeah. I mean, no one was asking me to write an autopsy report on it, but if I was, I would say cause of death, stabbing. And honestly, in that case, you don't usually then look for a secondary cause of death. Unless people are really suspicious.
One thing I thought was unusual, when I encountered it, it seemed to be wearing a suit of skin.
Oh. Yes. There was a bit of skin left still on it. That's human.
That's what I was wondering. It doesn't seem that... I'd assume human skin would dry out, though.
I mean, no. If you treat it properly, it can actually stay quite fresh and quite supple for quite a long time. There's a specific tonic of formaldehyde and other solvents that I use to keep hands in good condition. They last for months, and they if you get it just right, they keep the colour as well.
Yes,
I'll give you a recipe sometime if you want it.
Oh, yes, might be interesting. Yeah, I was hoping to, do some further study of this, but I believe you've probably examined it. I don't think
take a look at what's left if you like, but
well, why not? Do you want me to do a medicine roll? Just
yeah, if you want to do a
just do a quick cursory thing, really, because I don't think I'll notice anything he hasn't.
Pretty much
just a success.
Confirming what Victor said. This is
nothing unusual other than it's unusual.
It's highly unusual. It's hard to tell much about it because everything is so strange, and you can see that someone's definitely been in there and looking at the organs.
But
several of them are missing.
I haven't really got much knowledge of natural world, so I can't do a comparison. But what is going to happen to his body? I'm assuming it's going to be cremated, I would have thought.
Yeah, what I can't manage to bottle or save or dry, we'll have to go to the incinerator.
Yes.
If you want any of it, now's your chance.
Well, yes.
I can give you a bag or a bottle or a box.
I was curious about the qualities of the scales on it.
Yeah. I'll be back in one.
I wish to sort of stress test it to see whether it's resistant to fire or that sort of thing, or chemicals.
Let me just I've got a good knife for skin. I'll be back in one sec. And he disappears off to get you a good skinning knife.
Yes. Well, what I'm actually hoping to do is get enough to bind a book.
Of course. Nothing creepy about a skin book. Whilst Victor is just off getting his skinning knife, would you mind giving me a quick listen roll?
Extreme success.
Okay, so you hear Victor whistling, rattling away in the next room. You swear you hear another movement coming not from the other room where Victor went, but from one of the other drawers, one of the other locked drawers at the bottom of his rack of body storage cabinets.
The locked ones?
Yeah, one of the locked ones at the bottom.
Can I see anything marked on it? Would he have had something on it?
It doesn't have. It just has a number. It's 12B. Ah, here we are. This one should do it. How much do you want?
Oh, just and I'll just show basically with my hands out this. I was curious, what's in 12B? I thought I heard a noise from it. I'm probably imagining it. I feel as if I'm going mad some days.
Vermin, probably. Half the cabinets are out, empty at the moment. Sometimes rats get into the back. It's yeah. It's a bugger to keep them out.
So there's no body in that one?
Not at the moment. Here you go.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll take that. I'll probably roll up and put into a jar or something. I'll preserve it for until it can get tanned.
Right. Unfortunately, I've got a murder victim here. I need to get a report finished before the end of the day, so I might have to return to work.
So there's nothing in that drawer at all?
Not at the moment, no.
I shall just... I'm really sorry, I was just playing on my mind. I could have sworn I heard something moving in there.
Rats banging around the place. Big as anything. You should see them. I keep having to patch up the back of the drawers with a ledge because, if they get in, they
what I'll do...
nibble their way through all the fingers and toes. It's awful.
Yes, you have to be careful of rats like that.
Yeah.
I'll just walk up to the drawer and I'll just knock it loudly.
Okay.
Just to see if there's a scamper.
Give me another listen roll, please.
Let's see. Hard success, I'm doing good on these.
You hear a little rattle of movement from inside the drawer.
Heading
That's
away.
a bit bigger than a rat.
Did you hear that?
Sorry.
No.
No. Look, as I said, I must be getting back to work.
To do. Yes. It's okay, I'll be on my way. I'll just return to... Well, actually, I shall pop to the Natural History Museum at a chance to speak to an expert on snakes and the like. He might have a better insight on this.
Okay, so you're going to the Natural History Museum.
Yep. But good day to you, Dr. Pearson. Hopefully we shall meet again.
Yeah, perhaps. Although, as I said, quite busy these days. But...
Yep, keep yourself busy.
Right, see you around. He sort of ushers you back out the door
Yes,
of the
and I'll make my leave.
Okay, so as Mortimer heads over to the Natural History Museum, we return to Augustus, making his way down through Wapping, down on the docks. This is not a particularly salubrious part of town. There's sort of narrow streets, buildings crowded in, filthy gutters, rather ragged-looking children scampering about. Does Augustus still frequent this part of town? Will he still be recognised around these parts?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. So you can probably get there's some burly-looking guy on the street corner, and he gives you like a little nod as you pass by. Like, yeah.
Augustus appreciates this and returns the nod.
But, down by the waterfront, there's barges, there's goods and items, and up against the wall by one of these is Walter, the bargeman. He's got what looks to be a half-empty bottle of gin in one hand. He's sort of slumped up against the edge of a pile of bales and crates.
As I see him, I'm going to look around to see if there's any place that would be selling gin.
In the immediate...
In the immediate area.
There's probably... I'm trying to remember where we are in terms of gin house laws. But, gin's, not as the gin palaces. There's probably a dodgy-looking place in the corner that would sell gin.
I'm gonna pop
This
over
is not
there.
good. Then this is just cheap, like
I understand.
bad.
I would pop over there, to get a fresh bottle of gin. I'd ask rather politely to whoever would be selling me the gin if they had different levels of gin and if they had any garnishments, like the garnishes to put in it. I'm trying to give Walter some nice gin.
This is not a fancy gin place. This place sells beer and gin.
Gotcha.
Just gin. They have one sort of gin. It's gin flavored.
I'd buy the gin and then.
Do you have any lemons? It's made in their basement. They don't have any lemons. Like this is like.
I'll buy a bottle of gin and I'll be polite as I do it. Thank you. Thanks, mate. And then I'll walk back on over to Walter. I'll say, "Hey, Walter, long time no see, my man. How are you?"
Who are you?
I'm Augustus Green. Remember 2 years ago I pulled those bums off of you when they're trying to eat your ears? Probably not. You probably remember very few things.
You used to be smaller.
Yeah, 20 years ago when I was but a wee lad.
Ah, yeah. Wee little Augustus. Yeah, I remember you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Still alive.
Well, yeah, I'm Augustus. Of course I'm alive.
Oh.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Great. Business is booming.
Yeah. So, I got a couple questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me taking notes. I'm a proper businessman now. Provide protection, do a little bit of investigation, you know, get the time, some bare knuckle boxing, you know, God's work. Anyway, do you remember a lad? You might have seen him around with me a little bit. His name was Franco.
Hey. Lad with a notebook like you. Yeah, notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, always asking questions.
Always ask questions. Polite guy. He had a brother Henry.
Yeah, one of the St. Mary's lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking with his brother. I was talking with Henry, and I asked him if he knew what happened to Franco. No one's seen Franco in a while, and he said that, you know, you being a reputable man, you said somewhat recently you had seen Franco. So
Yeah.
just wondering.
It was a couple of years ago.
Couple years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Like, must be like, three. 3 years back now. Yeah.
Okay.
I were out here on the docks, minding my own business, when up pops Franco. Not with his notebook this time, but when I mean, like, right out of the damn river.
Out of the river, you say?
Yeah, came walking up out the river, like dripping water all over the place, like.
Did you say anything to him?
Can't remember exactly. Probably something about damn hell you doing walking out the river, but
What did he say?
I might have had one or two to drink.
Well, I pull
mean,
out
I'm
the bottle
not
of gin.
much of a. I'm not much of a drinker most of the time, but
I understand. But you know what I want you to see, but it's good to always have a little bit of extra, see?
Because
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So
good to
why
have
don't
some in hand just in case.
Why don't you think about it for a second?
Well, here's the thing. You kind of looked at me and like, oh, there's something that ain't right about that kid then. He was, something not right about the eyes, and put the right fear of God into me, it did. And here we
He
go.
didn't say anything to you?
No, just looked at me and then went
Which
off
way
on
did
his
he go?
way, dripping half the Thames behind him. Oh, inland somewhere. I wasn't about to follow him.
Have you heard anyone talk about him recently?
His brother asked. I told his brother that I'd seen him and asked, if he'd seen him, and Henry said he hadn't heard anything from him. And
But no one else? No rumors?
So, he'd gone to work with some folk up Mayfair way, I heard. Some kind of deal going with them. Got to
What
get
are
in
they
nice
about?
suits. Oh, yeah. Dodgy lot, stay away from them. My friend Dyer White, used to run barges up and down. Warned me stay the hell away from them if they came around. Yeah, nothing but trouble.
What type of trouble?
Weird trouble.
Weird trouble.
Yeah, I've talked with them. Next thing you know, you're off halfway at sea screaming about fish people. It's you don't mess with them lot.
Okay, well, I need you to do me a favor, all right? If you hear anything, if anyone comes around asking about him, either Franco or Henry, all right? Here's my card. You got my address.
That's it.
You hear me? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now here's the deal. We'll give you this bottle of gin. I know you don't drink a lot, but it's always nice to have something on hand. You never know when you need to celebrate. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that you think I should know about this subject matter?
About Franco, or look, if it's weird rib stuff you want to go, there's woman named May, mudlarks down up and down the shore. She
Got an
sees all
address
sorts.
for
I'm not sure she has an address, but you'll find her at low tide if you ask around.
You think she knows something?
She knows anything that goes on the river. She knows about.
All right. Walter, I believe you.
Right.
But if I find out that you withheld anything intentionally, I'm going to come back here.
For?
I don't know, Walter. You see, as an investigator, as a protector, as a businessman, as a man who does God's work, I find that people withhold information from me purposefully all the time. Now, you had a couple to drink if it was something you didn't remember, of course. That's different. But if you crossed me, and here I'd like to try to make an intimidation check.
Yeah,
if you purposefully crossed me,
intimidation roll.
I'm going to remind you why I am one of the most horrifying men who's ever lived.
He kind of blinks for a sec. It doesn't seem to quite filter through straight away. Then he realizes that you're threatening him. I ain't gonna start any trouble. I don't want any trouble. If I see a thing, I tell you a thing.
I often shake his hand like, I know, Walter. It's just I gotta say these types of things from time to time. It's just part of the work. All right. I'm gonna go walk around and look for May.
Okay, as Augustus is looking for May the Mudlark. Johann, you are heading over to the society. Is that correct? Unless there's any stops you would like to make along the way.
There is not. I might go grab a newspaper and stay updated. But I'll take my time. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. Yeah, you can pick up the newspaper, head on over to the society, where Agnes will happily show you in.
Thank you.
come in. Library?
Sorry.
Shall I show you through to the library, sir? Sorry.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you. I just need to look up a couple of things in the more odd books.
Yes, sir. Is there anything you want refreshment-wise, sir?
I mean, maybe a little bit to drink. A small whiskey, maybe.
Whiskey?
And
Yes.
if you have scones prepared
We have.
before
Yes, we have.
Mr. Green comes.
Oh, is he coming?
I don't know.
Mrs. Bramley's been making them every day of the week recently, just in case.
Being prepared. I see.
Well, Mr. Hathaway said we should. But,
I mean, they're nice, even if they don't end up in Mr. Green's belly. They're gonna end up in someone's, right?
Oh, none of them go uneaten.
Yeah, exactly. How's the house been doing so far? Everything all right?
Everything's fine at Ains. I mean, we mostly just keep things dusted, keep things clean, keep the garden weeded, everything.
No oddities or anything that happened?
Not since the incident with the cats and the snake.
Yeah, right.
No.
I was an odd one.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Abernathy, that is the society's lawyer, was around just checking on the accounts the other day. But,
is there an issue?
No, I don't think so. Mr. Hathaway, that is James to you, doesn't discuss it much with the likes of me, but I think obviously most of the money's going off to the country estates to take care of Miss Carter's ward and keep the estate running out there.
Okay.
There's some talk about perhaps sending some of us off out the city as well, because you don't really need a full staff in a house with no one living in it.
Understandable. Well, if Mr. Hathaway has any, if he seems worried about the financial situation, just tell him to come visit me, right? We'll keep this boat afloat if necessary.
Yes, sir.
Now, library.
Yes, and I will go fetch you some refreshments. So yeah, Agnes shows you through to the library, and then disappears off and returns shortly later with sandwiches, scones, gin, tea. Not gin, whiskey, wasn't it, that was requested?
Yeah.
Got gin on my mind now after. Nothing so low class would be served here.
Yeah, I'll just take my time, go through the library, and try to find out anything I can about that cult that got mentioned.
Okay, would you please give me another library use roll, please?
Oh, wrong button. Where is it? No, I don't have enough luck for that.
No, it seems that if it was in any of the Society's books, it's not in any of the books that are on open display.
Okay, so I'll just sit back in the chair and think about it for a moment. And remember James saying something about about some of the books being locked away. And then I'll ask if James is here.
Oh, yes, I'll fetch him.
That would be really nice, thanks.
And Agnes scurries off, and a moment later, James. Good day, sir.
Good day, James.
Sorry, I wasn't there to greet you. I've been trying to train Agnes up on
She did quite well. Situation's the following. There was I found a notice about some sort of cult, and there's nothing in the non-dangerous section of the library. At least nothing that I could find. I'm not asking you to, grant me access to the things that are locked away for reasons. I just want you to basically. There is this cult called Brothers of the Skin, and I want you to know that those exist, so that if this, whatever this is. Yeah, I have no clue, and I was hoping that I could be enlightened here, but you didn't hear anything about that, did you?
I don't read the books. That is. You see, almost a flash go over his face, and no, I don't read the books. That is. That is not for the likes of me. Are you sort of aiming here to try and get access to the books? Are you trying to sort of persuade him and sort of get him towards that as a sort of goal?
The aim is more like I don't want to be pushy. I want to know what that cult is, but at the same time, I don't want him to do a thing that he doesn't want me to. So I'm trying to
allow a charm or a persuade roll here. If you're trying to,
I'm trying to be very careful on that one.
If you would like access to the books.
Yeah. Well, that's a success.
Miss Carter did have a book about cults. She has quite a lot of book about cults, but one specifically about
cults.
I'm not supposed to look. The books are supposed to be locked away, and they're definitely not allowed to leave the house.
Yeah. I just stay here while I'm reading it.
If they really are out there, I mean, there's things out there. And do you want the German one or the English one?
Wait, you have a German version of that? Wait.
Yes.
I mean,
used to belong to Sir John, I believe, back when he ran the house.
Well, I take the German one. I'm not as good in English as I am with my native tongue, obviously.
Right. Sort of take best suits himself. I'll fetch the German one.
Thank you.
And he goes to fetch a book. Yes, Marlena was allowed to read some of it. People are allowed to read the books, but only under supervision. So yeah. James goes off to fetch you a book. What could possibly go wrong? So yeah. As we're waiting for the book, Mortimer, you are heading over to the Natural History Museum.
Yes, I am, but there was something else just occurred to me. That sound in the tray, would you say it would have been about the same size as, say, a forearm? Something like that. I'm just thinking of that hand that was thrown out of a coach. That was still animated some time ago.
I mean, it sounded bigger than a rat. It sounded like something fairly big and heavy thudding inside there, but you wouldn't be able to get an exact, precise size of it.
It just occurred to me, we never found out what happened to that zombie arm that was thrown out of the coach that carried on the killers. Oh well. I was just wondering when it turned up.
It's just out there somewhere, just in a ditch, surprising some poor farmer.
It's okay. It just occurred to me that could have been something that was there, but no, never mind. Yes, I'll head towards the Natural History Museum to find an expert on reptiles.
Well, there is the reptile expert is a Dr. Giles Bennett. who is handles the head of herpetology. And you can request a meeting with her. You have enough
I look respectable enough.
respectability and kudos, yeah.
And it's probably a place I've visited before.
Yeah, if you request it, one of these sort of assistants will show you through to Dr. Charles's office.
Okay.
Which is this tucked away sort of in the bowels of the back of the museum, down some corridors, is this little office crammed with books and jars and bits of skin pinned to corkboards, and this musty sort of reptile smell fills the room.
A smell I'm strangely familiar with.
You are indeed, and hunched over sort of the desk is this fairly elderly gentleman. Looks to be, 70s, 80s even. He looks ancient, sort of partially desiccated, sort of old man.
Oh, this is going to be a strange question. Is that reptilian smell in the room in general, or is it coming from him?
You can give me a spot hidden check if you want.
I'm just paranoid, if that's okay. Hard success. Being that I've been in a room with that...
Just seems to be coming from the old gentleman.
Ah, yes, that wouldn't surprise me. Just occurred to me over that snake lady at the Shipley incident.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
A visitor? Oh, okay. I've one for a good while.
Yes. Just thought you were the expert on reptilians. You'd be the ideal person to speak to about, well, snakes and you like. I don't know a great deal about the natural world, and thought I'd take this opportunity to consult an expert.
Well, you've come to the right place. There is no one in London that knows more about reptiles than I do.
That's good to know. I spent quite a bit of time in India and Constantinople, and I've encountered a number of different snakes and like cobras and you like.
Ah, yes. Cobras, not my favourite snake, but...
Well, there's
yeah.
loads.
Yes, so what is it I can help you with?
I was curious about how large snakes can grow. I know it's a weird question, but I mean, on my travels I've heard a lot of stories from the South Americas and so on of snakes as wide as, well, their bodies as wide as doorways. Which to me sounded far-fetched.
That does sound a little far-fetched. I've never, as wide as a doorway, I've never seen any quite so large. No, the largest serpent I've ever had the pleasure of encountering is the Amazonian water boa.
That's probably the one I've heard the stories about.
Yes, well, more specifically, the Eunectes moranis, the green anaconda, up in the jungles of South America.
But those are not venomous, if I recall. Or are they?
No, they're constrictors. They will wrap themselves around us and squeeze the life of you. They can get pretty doorway thick. No, not doorway thick, but I've seen a specimen that was 14 foot long once.
That's impressive. Yeah, I was just curious about what sort of habitat is ideal for snakes. I'm assuming humid, warm.
For those, yes, jungle, humidity, warmth, rivers. They want it nice and hot and wet. And most of their sorts they'll climb trees though, as well as swim in the water. I can lend you a book on them if you like.
It's possible.
I've got a good one somewhere like that. Yes.
Oh, I think did I introduce myself? I cannot remember if I did.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask. Dr. Giles Bennett.
I'm Dr. Mortimer Davenport. I actually own a bookstore not too far from here.
Oh, well, I should be careful lending you a book, then it might disappear onto your shelves.
You never know. But yeah, I haven't got many on reptiles. It doesn't seem an area of common interest in London.
Well, it's
Tends to be more needlework.
there's not that many reptiles in London.
Yes, it seems that way.
Yeah. No, some of my colleagues make fun of me, being a a reptile expert living in a land with very few reptiles. But there's still some if you know where to look.
If you were to look for a reptile in London, where would you look? I'm assuming parks, that sort of thing?
Yeah, parks, long grass, all that stuff. Although, yeah, depends what you're looking for. If you're lucky, you might see a viviparous lizard or a slow worm, but
There doesn't seem to be that many around
or a
here.
grass snake. You might get a grass snake.
I do recall I read a story in, I think it was the Illustrated Police News, about someone, a collector. He had, I believe he lived off in the country somewhere. He had some sort of viper he had from abroad, some sort of speckled viper. He also had a puma, I believe.
Ah,
So he was a collector of exotic animals.
collectors will bring all sorts, yes. Yeah.
But it's not something you'd normally find around here.
No. But no, in my youth, I used to travel a good deal, get out and see them in the natural habitat. These days, I just look at bones and skin and all that.
Have you been in London long then?
Oh, I mean, all my life, but I spent much of it travelling until, sadly, these old bones started to give out a couple of years back.
Yes, you've settled down to a nice place, a nice job. And it's certainly the best place to learn this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'll return this book as soon as I've finished it. I will give it a good read. And
Yeah, it's called Snakes of the Amazon.
But should you require any interesting books, I can probably get hold of some books for yourself. If there's anything in particular you're after, I could probably order it.
Well, I'll keep you in mind.
Well, sorry to take up so much of your time. It's very pleasant meeting you.
No problem.
I'll offer a hand to shake his hand as I...
He shakes your hand, his, like, papery loose skin.
Yeah, I was going to say... The conversation went a different direction when I suspected he was a snake person. I was going to
It's just
try
really
something
into
else.
snakes.
Could very well be. Could just be a complete coincidence that he smells similar to the Mad Snake Lady we've encountered and the Serpent Person, and oh well. I'm not taking the risk. I'm not in the best of health at the moment. But it's something to think about.
Yes, you can now have a copy of Snakes of the Amazon by Dr. Giles Bennett.
Oh, it's his own book.
Oh, yes.
I'll have to keep an eye out to see if he's written any more.
A true academic always gives you a copy of their own book first.
Of course. But he is an expert, so probably no one knows any more about reptiles than him in the city. But yes, I'll probably just take my leave about now and head towards the society.
Okay, you head towards the society. Meanwhile, Augustus is headed down onto the muddy banks of the Thames.
Oh, let's see.
There's a kind of
Mark.
sort of sludge of unpleasant Thamesness on the banks, along with, rags and things. People are picking through essentially anything that the tide has washed up and left behind. Looking for
You know what?
items, anything of value.
Augustus is not new to this game. He'd like to do a spot hidden to see if he could find anything of value.
Yeah,
An
give me a spot hidden. Let's see if you can.
Hard success.
You find a shilling
Uh,
sparkling there amongst the muck and the stones.
I wash it off and I go, you might just come in handy. Put it in my front pocket. Let's see, I could walk patiently, or I could yell. I'm gonna go with yell. Mary! Mary! My voice is booming.
What name is it you're yelling?
I'm yelling out Mary. I don't want to. I don't know if she'll be offended by Mary the Mudlark, so that might not be a kosher thing. So I'm just yelling Mary.
The sound echoes out across the bank. A few people, like both further up in the city and out on the bank, like turn to look at you, and then go back to picking their way through the dirt.
Have you seen Mary? I yell at him.
Are you looking for May?
Oh, it's May.
Says a woman next to you.
Augustus's handwriting is not good. May. May. Have
That's
you seen
me.
May?
I'm May.
Well, then you have seen you. It's good to meet you.
I don't look in a mirror very often, but yes.
Your point is well taken. I have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
She holds out her hand.
Pull out the shilling. I knew you'd come in handy.
Ask away.
So and I'm sorry for getting your name wrong. Augustus means no disrespect. I was just talking with a man named Walter. He's a bargeman.
Drunk Walter, yeah, I know him.
Drunk Walter. Everyone has a nickname.
He distinguishes him from one-eyed Walter and one-legged Walter.
And sober Walter. And somersault
Walter. We haven't
Walter.
got a sober Walter, I'm afraid.
I know. It used to be drunk Walter, and then he started drinking. It was tough times. Augustus is not here for jokes. He's pointed me to you. I have some questions that might be strange. Do you know Franco? Porter Franco? Brother of Henry?
Not by name.
It's a tall fellow, always has a notepad, kind of weird. Walter told me at one point he walked out of the river and was looking spooky.
Poor man walk out the river, yeah. I know him. He used to lurk around.
How long did he used to lurk around?
A few years back. Not seen him for years.
Could you tell me everything you know about him when the last time you saw him? He's a dear friend, and I think he's missing.
He's a friend.
Augustus does not have many friends, so he treasures the friends that he has.
Well, if I were you, I'd get some new friends.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you don't want to dally with thoughts like that.
Did he die?
I don't know.
What do you think happened to him?
Swam away? Went down to the fishes? I don't know.
My face goes stone. He swam away.
That's what the fish people do, right? Isn't it? Swim away.
You saying he's a fish person?
I don't know what you rightly call them. Fish people. Mermaids. Mermaid seems awfully fancy for their sort.
Do you see him turn to a fish person?
No. Just, when someone comes walking out the river with their, looking all fishy like.
So he started to look like a fish?
I don't remember him from before he looked like a fish, but I don't spend much time up further on shore.
But he did look like a fish when you saw him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and my nan used to tell me tales about selkies, but again, they always sound nicer in the stories than in real life.
Give me a moment. The last time we saw him, he looked like a fish. And you think that's what his fate was?
Look, all I know is he used to be lurking around, and he asked me questions I didn't know the answer for.
type of questions?
Oh, if I'd knew, if I could help him find out about someone called, about Maddie Carter. I said I'd not seen her in years. Not in a long, long time.
Well, that's the other friend that I'm looking for.
I've not seen her.
Do you
Not
have
since
any leads on her?
No. The last time I saw her, I was back when I was a kid.
How old
Got a
are
good
you?
memory for these sort of things.
If
Good
I,
questions. Ask a woman.
Just as it's a frame of reference. How old are you?
It was about 10 years ago. I used to, there was a gentleman, a fellow by the name of Porter. I used to sell stuff to him. Anyway, I went looking for him, and there were these two ladies, and there's, three ladies, and this whole lot of mess. And, one by one, they all disappeared.
Did you always live down here?
Live hereabouts, wonder hereabouts. I see everyone who comes and goes down by the river. See some weird folks over the years.
Have you always been homeless? Are you homeless?
I've got places to stay.
I'm gonna pull out. Augustus is gonna pull out a business card,
Doesn't do good to stay in one place for too long. They
and I'm
find
gonna
you.
write. I'm gonna write. They find you. Who finds you?
Them, They're, look.
Why don't
The
you
kind of
come with
questions
me?
you're asking, they're not the kind of questions it's safe to be asking ground by the river,
I'm gonna show you
you're
a
lucky
couple.
you're talking to me. But,
Madam, here's this card. Okay.
can't
On
read.
the back of this card. What?
I can't read.
Oh shit! I only learned a couple years myself. Fucking hate it. It's awful. It's like 6 years ago before I started doing all this shit. Okay, all right. I have an offer for you. No one should be without a home. This is one of Augustus's main rules. I only have 3. No one should be homeless. People should eat scones. Pay your debts or get wrecked. Okay, those are the 3 commandments of Augustus. I want you to come with me to a place where you can live permanently. They have cooks, butlers. There's one named James. Fucking hideous, but he's a good man. Not very smart, but he's good at what he does. He's amazing, can tie his shoes, but he's a good butler, mostly. Alright? And you'll be safe. Maddie used to live there. These people, they took me in. Now, Augustus makes a lot of money. Augustus also spends a lot of money. But, you'll be safe
I
there.
don't want to be a servant, alright?
No, you don't have to be a servant. You'll have servants.
What's the catch?
Catch
Nothing in
is
this
if I
world
have...
is free.
Things are only free if you're really good or really bad at business. That's the 4th unwritten commandment of Augustus. It's too complicated to make it a full-blown commandment. Anyway, the catch is you'll have to learn to read, write, better yourself, and you'll have to answer questions from time to time about this sort of stuff. But you'll be safe.
Alright, give me a charm or persuade roll here.
Oh, Augustus is neither charming nor persuasive. We'll go with charm. Hey!
Hey! She seems hesitant, but something about your attitude is strangely winning her over. Like, she's although she's, you know, about half your size physically, there's a sort of readiness to throw hands that you expect that if she was Augustus' size, she would be throwing around Augustus levels of aggression at people, but she's just
Augustus respects
held
this.
back. So she seems hesitant at first. You're sort of realizing that you are like someone who's equally pissed off at generally things, and like. Yeah.
Look,
she's like,
I fit in there. They took me in. You'll fit in there.
all right, lead the way, but
you can always leave if you don't like
I'm not cleaning any floors, and I ain't curtsying.
Augustus has never curtsied.
Alright.
This is a fact that will take you far. Alright, you know what? Before we go back, what time of day is it, would you say?
About 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. Let's just get you back as soon as we can. And I'm gonna take her to a spot where we can grab a buggy or something and head straight back to the society.
Okay, I need another charm or persuade roll because the cab driver, or intimidate, the cab driver sort of takes one look at you and then up and down at May, who is barefoot, kind of ragged.
This is how I intimidate him. Your face tells me you're thinking something really stupid. You shouldn't say that. Or I'm gonna slap you so hard. There's no joke. I'm just gonna slap the shit out of you. Let's go. My money spends.
He lets you in the cab. And seems more willing when you say to go to Mayfair.
Yeah. Augustus does business there.
And so as you head over to the society, I think, before we go to break, there's some very important sort of roles and things to do. Because whilst Mortimer was off questioning lizard people and Augustus is making friends with May, Johann had a book. So, let's see. So the full study will take time to fully understand this. But if you would give me first of all, a language own role in this case.
Language own.
Because sort of quickly sort of understanding.
Oh, come on.
Oh!
Roll 20. Can you not stop trolling me?
So, I'd say this is a really interesting book. You start to read it, and it's really fascinating information about... It was written not that long ago. This isn't some ancient tomes. It was written by Friedrich Wilhelm von Junz, only back in 1839, printed in Hamburg. And there seems to have this is her first edition. Whether there were any more than one print run, you don't know. And it's got engravings in it, like original sort of quite horrible but compelling engravings. And it talks of all sorts of different cults and societies, and it's so interesting that rather than start sort of flicking through and looking for the Brothers of the Skin, you just find yourself sort of sat there starting to like read it from the beginning. This is fascinating. And a full reading will take a good length of time. But even from starting to read it, you can tell this book can teach you things. This book has information. And let's see.
Well, I guess I'll read until James disturbs me.
Yes. I just remember how this goes. It's a while since I've done a book read. I'm trying to remember if you do this in the initial. You know what? Let's do this on the initial read.
Yeah.
You've got long enough, you've got a few hours before anyone else turns up. And yeah, you start reading it from sort of front cover, making your way through discussions of societies of corpse eaters, sun worshippers, all manner of strange things and knowledge. You can add 5 points of Cthulhu of Mythos knowledge.
Yeah.
You're just devout, like, just flipping through the pages, reading over the course of the next few hours.
Oh, that's the thing that Reddy used.
Actually internalizing any sort of the spells and the knowledge will take a full read to actually sort of understand those. But as you sort of read through, you start to see some things that sound familiar from things that Maddie has done or Maddie has mentioned. And I need you to roll me 2d8.
Dun dun dun. Come on.
This one is a kill. I'm not sure if this is I think this might be the most vicious book you have.
8.
Okay. Please deduct 8 from your sanity.
And roll intelligence.
And definitely roll intelligence unless you've...
That is a success. It rolled twice. Don't know why.
Okay, that is a success, unfortunately for you. Because you fully understand what you're reading here. And it's as you get to the page of the ritual to call forth the blazing sun, you truly start to realise...
That's what Maddie did.
That's what Maddie did. This is the book that gave her that knowledge and that power to really start. This is the book that started her on that path. And you know where that path ended. You saw where that path ended. Now you've taken steps along that path. And I need you to roll me 1d10, please, here. Because this is enough to cause a bout.
Another 8.
Another 8. Let's see, where has my wonderful flowchart of wonder gone? Oh, at this combat. Apologies, I have misplaced my... There it goes. Ah, 8 work in this case? Yeah. So, looking at the page, looking at this ritual, sort of horror reaching into your mind, you feel this absolute panic, this urge to just run, to get as far away from this place as you can get. Sort of knocking the book to one side, you leap up from the table, come rushing like down the hall, out the front steps and into the street. And I need a look roll for you here, please. Right into the path of a hansom cab that was just pulling up outside the
I knew it.
house.
I knew you were
There's
doing...
a rearing of horses, the hansom cab tilts, and we are going to break there.
Perfect.
So we will see you back in 10 minutes' time. And we're back. So, Mortimer was having a nice stroll on a crisp November afternoon over Hyde Park from the Natural History Museum towards the London Esoteric Society. And you had just turned the corner into Grosvenor Square when all hell broke loose. the front door of the society was flung open, and a figure charged out into the street, not looking left or right, just blindly charging forwards, just as a hansom cab was coming up around the corner. The horse rears up in panic, there's a man running out in front of it, and sets the whole carriage toppling over. Now, I would like a dexterity roll from everyone involved here, essentially.
So who's involved? All of us?
Not Mortimer. Mortimer, you are just a witness.
I'm just seeing this.
You are a witness to this incident as Augustus. This happens sort of before you sort of have a chance to realise what's going on. The carriage topples over sideways. Could someone also roll me a D100 for May?
Maddie?
May. I didn't want to be responsible for this. As the carriage topples
that's
over.
gonna be fun.
Yes. Okay, I'll take the second one for the coach driver. The coach driver leaps out of the way. He is able to avoid the damage, get out of the way. As is Johann. Despite his pure panic, somehow he evades actually being hit by the carriage. The whole thing goes toppling on its side, but Johann reaches the center of Grosvenor Square without a scratch on him. Augustus and May inside the carriage as it goes toppling sideways as a splintering of wood sort of jolted against the side of the carriage. Augustus, I'd like you to roll me 1d6, please. Might be get off with a few cuts and bruises. This might be a more serious injury. Okay. Not too badly hurt. You will take 3 points of damage. Most of this seems to be caused by May toppling on top of you. She barely takes any damage at all. Just a couple of scrapes. But she got her weight crashes into you as you hit the side, and this whole thing goes toppling over. You can see the panic sound of the horse. The coach driver is busy sort of untangling its reins and getting it free. Johann, you sort of come back to your senses, in the middle of the square, this carriage on its side. People shouting, everyone turning to look.
I'm looking confused. Then I'm slowly starting to, think through what just happened. And I'm like, no. Okay, I'll go and try to help the people in the carriage.
Okay.
I'm not the person that can help with the horses, but I can ride, but those horses don't know me. It's probably better if.
So you're hurrying over to help the people in the carriage. Mortimer,
Yeah.
having seen this happen, what are you doing?
Oh, I'd run over straight away to give first aid to anyone injured, basically.
Yeah, as you run over, you see, there's two figures in this carriage. Augustus Green, what is your attitude at the moment? What with the face of them when they come round rushing to the carriage?
Mine.
Mortimer, when you look at my face, you see the face of Augustus Green when he's trying to fight the urge to murder everything around him. And he goes, no, it's okay, May. Everything's fine. We'll get this accounted for. Everything's good. And as I kind of lurch out of the mess, you see that I am missing. I have a bad cut on my lip, and I'm missing one of my side teeth. And just pouring out blood.
Oh.
And as you emerge from the carriage, maybe you see Mortimer and Johann who've hurried over to help. And you see Augustus exit, followed by this rather poorly dressed young woman in a shabby, much patched, fairly dirty dress and shawl.
Yes. Who looks worst for wear?
Augustus.
Well, what happened? Well, actually, I saw what happened.
Yeah, you saw what happened. Augustus, from inside the carriage, you didn't see what it was that made the horses rear in panic.
Nope. All I know is that I went sideways, and then a elbow from May just caught me across the face. I would like to think that, but for that elbow, I would have been completely fine.
Yeah. The coach driver got his horse back up and turns on Johann.
Yeah. I'll go and move over there and let Mortimer and Mr. Green deal with each other.
Mortimer?
Yeah, basically just do first aid. I'll check. I've got my bag with me. I travel with it everywhere. So.
Yeah,
My lips hanging off of my
please.
face.
Yeah, I'll get that sorted out. We need to get you two inside, and I can get you checked over properly.
Nobody's going anywhere. You just ran out.
We'll get that sorted. Don't worry. I'm so sorry about that situation. I will just pay money to make this go away.
Give me a credit rating roll, please. Let's see if you've got enough cash in hand to solve this situation.
But it's a success.
Just enough. You've got enough money. You count it out your pockets.
I'm just gonna grab in and just. This should
Cab
be enough
drivers.
to replace your damages. I'm so sorry. I was really not in my right mind.
The cab driver's anger sort of fades with every sort of. Bit of
Yeah, I'm not used to the city life as much. That could have gone way. Could have gone way worse. Being in front of the horses like that. Well, I guess let's go and get the people inside to get the carriage out of the way so that people can pass here again.
Yeah, this police have probably been called to attend to the carriage that's toppled over on its side. The question is, are you sticking around to get involved in that, or are you?
I mean, I just the guy that had the accident is less worried right now, so
Yes.
I'm just gonna be.
Tootling off inside the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go grab people and just be gone. For a moment at least.
Okay, so are the rest of you, are you going inside the house, or are you sticking around to try and get involved in this cab crash situation?
No, I'm gonna go inside the house before I commit a felony.
Sounds wise.
Come on, May. Mortimer, can you think you can put my lip back?
Oh, shouldn't be a problem.
I have the tooth, so that's a plus side.
Now, what did you get on your first aid roll?
Oh, I haven't rolled it yet. I'll do it for both of them. I'll roll for Augustus Green first, and then May second. So let's see. Success and hard success.
Okay, so I think is it 1 point for a first aid roll?
1 point for a first aid roll,
Yes. So yeah, you've patched up all of May's injuries. But her main injury was that she got a cut on her elbow. Where it
yeah. I could probably do
hit someone's
more.
tooth, but
I could probably do more, but with a medicine roll, but that would take some time.
yeah. But, you can patch them up a bit. The door, you're safely now inside the house. As the commotion outside is muffled by the closed door.
Well, not exactly the welcome I was expecting.
Oh yeah. I've been reading.
What did you do?
Yeah, I've been reading.
No, somehow this is your fault. I don't know how it's your fault. It's just my instincts tell me that you screwed this up.
I've been reading, and I needed fresh air. for a moment there, and I did not notice the carriage coming around the corner and stepped right in front of the horses.
So you mean to tell me that you were reading something so damn interesting
Yeah,
that you were like, ooh, I need some air, and then you ran out and almost got hit by horses, and then I
Yeah.
get elbowed in the face.
wasn't the smartest move ever.
You remind me of somebody I know named Franco,
Right.
actually. So here's the deal.
Might be the face.
I'm thinking about hitting you, as always. Anyway, I need James.
You're still in the hallway currently at the moment?
Yeah.
Are you...
James!
Oh. Yes, sir?
I need you. We have a new...
Sorry, there's something going on outside. I got distracted for a moment.
Yeah, it was me getting elbowed in the face. It's okay. James, this is May. She lives here now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I know your inclination
We
might
don't really
be to
need
ask...
any more household staff at the moment.
No. No. She's not a staffer. She lives here now.
Oh boy. More people. Okay.
James? She knows about stuff. She used to be good friends with Maddie. She told me about something horrible that happened, which is going to put to bed a mystery for us. She's a good person. Life has been unkind to her. She lives here now. I donate a fair bit of my profits to the society. I will donate more. She lives here now.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a roll here. This could either be pure intimidation. This could be a credit roll check on, the fact that you're contributing. This could be persuasion. I'm not sure it's charm.
I think it's going to be intimidate. Because I probably do donate, but it's not like I'm, making it rain on the society, So we're going to go with, I will spend a lot of luck on this.
Or fast talk if you like. No luck is required. James just gives a nod. I will go and get the rooms prepared. She can have Lady Irene's old rooms.
That's splendid. If the staff could take the time when they have a moment to introduce themselves to her, and if you could draw her up a nice bath, have a meal made, etc., etc. She's very important to me now. She is my friend.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Quick question.
Johann, I will slap the...
How old is she?
She looks to be somewhere in her 20s, probably. It's hard to be certain, given...
It's okay, yeah. Just wanted to know if she was a child or a young adult.
No. She was a child when first encountered, however, that was 10 years ago.
So, now that we have that taken care of, May, go with James is great. It's very great. Remember, he's not very smart. Mortimer, fix my lip. My lip.
Well, is this May? Is she your ward?
No, but okay, hold on. All right.
Don't worry. I'll do this as I'm fixing successful roll. So,
staffers, if you could all vacate the area for me, we need to have one of those conversations, the three of us.
And the only other member of staff who is still left, which is Agnes, scurries off. Are you having this in the library, or...?
Probably.
I think this is still in the front room, because, Okay.
So, as in, the door's open to, just a hall, and then off it, there's the privacy
Let's
of
just
the
go to the
library.
library. It's better that way.
The hall is not particularly private, because essentially it's the stairwell.
The library probably has scones.
The library still has a plate
that-
of scones, a cold pot of tea, a knocked over chair, and a book lying open on the table.
Oh, yeah,
Johann?
right. That's probably, and I'm gonna go grab the book and close it and, put the stuff back the way it's supposed to be.
I
That's
know
one of
that
those
book.
books, isn't it, Johann? One of those fancy books that you read and makes you go, woo 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 woo.
It's a very beautiful book, to be honest.
Okay. I have some news, and I'm not mad at you, Johann. I know we have to turn to spooky books from time to time, but I have been informed and believe with great certainty and unfortunate accuracy that I do now know what happened to beloved Franco.
What happened? I've never met him. He's been before my time here.
He is a fish person.
Wouldn't people have noticed?
Many years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I had to stop him from doing some really weird stuff. And he had these water fish dreams, and I had one of those dreams. It wasn't a good time. And he slowly became more and more attracted to the water. So, due to what May told me, and the past, and the fact that nobody in this damaged place has any success, long term or luck, he's a fish person. Drunk Walter, albeit it is drunk water, saw him walk clean out the river, and then May saw him look like a fish person more and more. And she knows of fish people, and she was Maddie's friend and knew about some weird stuff that happened 10 years ago. So,
All right.
my greatest failure was that I told that boy I'd protect him and keep him safe, and I didn't. Unfortunately, she also seems to have some information. I think maybe about Maddie. I don't know how much of it's pertinent, but I'm starting to suspect that Maddie is no longer with us either. She was also one of my friends.
I'm gonna look around. Is there somebody listening in? You are maybe muted?
Make me a spot hidden check, please.
Alrighty. That is a success.
You can't see any sign of anyone listening in on you. The door is firmly shut. There's no one lurking outside the window. Out the front window, you can still see there seems to be a bit of a commotion going on out in the square. People writing a carriage, lots of going on. You suspect that if people are being nosy, they might be being nosy on them.
Yeah, Miss Cortez did. She tried to summon the sun and didn't stop once the combat against the fish person had ended. And she was grinning widely. And I tried to get her to fall over, to just, knock her out. That wouldn't work. I shot her. And she didn't. We couldn't get her back.
I understand. Wish you had told me that. Mortimer, how long did you know?
Didn't either. Gray was with me at the time. When we came here, we just couldn't tell him. It's just didn't. And the longer we waited, the more difficult that became. The reason that I ran out, and I'm just opening the book to the side, to the page where the sun cult is because this book contains a lot of things, a lot of very interesting things about very different societies.
It made you go crazy, didn't it?
It contained the spell that she was using.
All right, I pull out my gun and I aim it at the book.
What's the spell called?
not even phased about me pulling out my gun anymore. I'm a hack. I put my gun back.
Yeah,
I understand German, so I cannot read it.
Yeah, I'll just translate. It was Calling the Sun? No. It had a specific name that I forgot.
The title in this edition of the book is whatever the German for Call Forth the Blazing Sun would be.
What?
Or the Burning Sun.
Yeah. Herbeirufen der brennenden Sonne. Something like that. Call forth the burning sun. And yeah. The problem is that in the whole thing, I wasn't actually looking for that. I was looking for. I got a couple of letters. From Elena.
Who the fuck is that?
Somebody we met on the train to the Orient, the Orient Express. We kept up connections over time, and written back and forth a couple of times. She's been in contact with something called Brothers of the Skin. She's been looking into cult activity in that, but they've been in Prague and Central Europe, all over the place.
Wait, cults? We're dealing with fucking nerds?
I'm looking into stuff that might be problematic for us.
Everything is problematic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We summon suns. We fight big snakes. We fight poisonous snake people. My best friend in the world got turned into a fish. Maddie summoned the fucking sun for some goddamned reason, and then you had to fucking shoot her. I pay way too much in taxes. Everything is problematic for us. What? Oh, Johann, you read a book and it made you go crazy, and then I got elbowed in the face. Somehow you look healthier.
Yeah, I don't understand how that evaded me. I was directly in front of the horses. I don't understand either. I didn't even use the never mind.
It doesn't matter. This is what we're doing, okay? I did a lot of good detective work today. You were out here doing your thing with the books and all of that. Mortimer, what were you doing today? Tell me you had a nice, normal day where nothing bad happened and everything was good.
It was strange.
Oh, damn it.
I went to speak with the guy at the Hospital College Library, I think, Dr. Victor Peterson, regards that serpent person. I was wanting to find out what was going to happen with the body to ensure it was being destroyed, and if he'd found any further information. And he's an unusual gentleman. He has an interest in the dead. There's something strange going on there I cannot quite place my finger on. But then I went to speak with the Natural History Museum with an expert on serpents. And there's a very good chance the person I was speaking to might have also been a serpent person. I'm not sure, but could be.
Mortimer?
Yes, Mr. Augustus Green?
Remind me if I'm wrong, but the last time we met a snake person, who are somehow a bigger pain in the ass than fish people, I might add, we stabbed and shot them, and then they died.
Very true.
Okay, so...
that is the second snake person or serpent person that I have encountered in London.
And they weren't a politician. Huh.
It would not surprise me if some of them are.
All right, well, you know what? Here's what we're going to do, Mortimer. Sometimes the Augustus way is the easiest way. If they start doing snake people stuff and they need to get dealt with, well, I'm going to put a potato on the barrel, serve them some hash browns, and then bang, we're done.
I did not understand any of the words you were saying right now.
I will take out my gun, put a potato on it because it will act as a means of silencing it, and then shoot the snake person until it is dead.
I see. Why would you need to be silent to shoot a snake person?
So I don't go to fucking.
Anyhow,
I walk out of the room and I just start shadow boxing.
I need to stop teasing that man, but it's just so much fun.
probably best not to, though. He's slightly larger than you are.
Yeah, that is true.
But yes, no, my day has been... It should have been a normal day, but everything just seemed slightly off about everything I encountered today. Then, of course, the carriage incident. But I'd actually come here because I wanted to check on the items that the society was holding to ensure that they were labelled up with the correct warnings. Because I was concerned about, with Maddie being missing, nobody knew the nature of the dangerous items that the society was holding.
I think James has got that covered. I think we're fine on that front.
But I think I might know what most of them are, so I want to have them labelled up. So if something were to happen to me, at least they're labelled up with enough information, and take it from there, I suppose.
I guess that makes sense.
Oh, by the way, that cult you mentioned, what was it called again?
Brothers of the Skin.
I spent quite a bit of time in Constantinople, and I'd overheard that name during my searches. Nothing recent. It seems to be an old cult. We're talking no news of them, but it's like a historic cult. It seemed to be, probably over 100 years ago. They worship something they called a skinless one. But that is as much as I can remember. I didn't, I'd planned to have a holiday whilst I was in Constantinople. I didn't want to get involved with anything, and it seemed nothing to worry about. But
do I know about the skinless one?
You had not yet got to the section of
All right.
nameless cults that refers to this cult.
Okay. So there is,
And it wasn't mentioned in any of Marlena's letters.
all right. So that's a thing to go look up. You told me on the train way back when that you had followed somebody to Paris.
yes, we had Harley Patton, I think his name was.
Exactly. Marlena thinks the guy's still alive. I'm not sure if he is, or if she's just picked something else up. But she told me in a letter that he's not dead, but is just hiding somewhere and biding his time.
That's a bit worrying, because the last time we encountered him, actually, Mr. Augustus Green was also involved with that. I believe he had words with him.
Oh.
It was over a murder in a tavern, I believe, called the Red Lion, it may have been. We were investigating a murder there, and someone had their heart ripped out their chest. And we traced it back to do with some story about a dark sorcerer who had murdered someone some time ago. But there are a few strange rumours. Apparently this gentleman can get hold of unusual items, regardless what they are. And we'd been tracking him over the fact that we believed he had murdered Inspector Barnes, who was asking questions about the original murder, and we tracked him down to Paris, or Mr. McCrushley tracked him down. And that is where we encountered him. But I didn't check whether he was dead. I don't know what exactly happened. but I believe a wheel of cheese may have been involved. And the stories are a bit strange about what happened that evening, about some mad, crazed woman hitting people with a wheel of cheese.
Aren't these the hints that there was more than the eye meets the eye that evening?
It was rather complicated. He was trying to get hold of an item which was very strange. He was trying to get hold of an item from someone, can't remember the name of the lady in question who had the item. He had a lot of cats, so...
Is it that weird arm that you were looking for on the train?
It was. That was what Mr. Patton has been trying to get hold of from this lady. And we warned her that he was interested in it. I thought it was easier to be upfront and honest with her. We had no interest in the item, but we wanted to make sure he didn't get hold of it. And he met with her. He left with the arm. And we switched cases and we stole it from him after the sale. But yeah, that arm was then stolen from us, I believe, on the train. Very likely just thrown out, but my concern of the whole journey with the train was the whole incident with that invisible entity. I think it was a... Gee, I worked out what it was because I can summon one.
You can what?
I'm gonna walk through the door right then.
Yeah, right as Mortimer saying, because I can summon one.
What in the...
I've never tried, and I've got no plan to, but I have the knowledge to do so if I were to choose to.
To do what?
Oh, to summon some weird, invisible, vampiric entity.
Oh,
It's very strange. But having said that, the knowledge could probably be turned around to banish it as well. Which is the
You are the
thing
only nerd that I like. The only nerd that I like.
The handy thing about the summoning spells is you can turn them around to banish them as well. Which is the most useful thing. The fact is, it's very unusual because the book is rather misleading. The book I had told me this was invoke invisible servant, so I assumed it was some helpful invisible entity you could summon to help. Maybe you could just have it clean your house for you, do your housework, dust or something like that, or tidy things for you, do your washing for you. And then, well, after further study, it turns out it's a strange vampiric entity that kills people. So there's no chance I'll be summoning that anytime soon, but...
So it's serving your interests, but if you're not very specific on what your interest is, it's gonna go and do it in the most way possible.
It will. From what there's probably much more information available on it. I only know a little bit. I could have summoned it for a single job or a single task, but it would do. I'm under the impression it's not a very pleasant creature, and it'll turn out that command to its advantage because I think it probably just wants to kill. So I believe someone on that train summoned it as a distraction for us. Whilst we were dealing with it, they stole the arm. So someone we had on the train who has knowledge of esoteric things summoned it. They may have commanded it to distract us, which it did, but they didn't tell it not to kill someone. And I believe it killed your friend, Wolfgang. And I believe someone summoned it, not realising it would do that.
Or maybe they didn't care. Maybe they just didn't care.
I think they were probably just... These things, the small print, the warnings come after the spells. Which doesn't make sense.
Well, this is my thought. Why don't we just focus on remembering our fallen friends, killing fish people, killing snake people, making sure that May's taken care of, and making sure that our this fucking cursed place is funded enough to keep going.
Yeah. Apropos May, I think you need to go get her a bit more appropriate attire. She's looking like she's gonna get into the trouble with the police if she's walking around outside here.
She looks like your mother. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go and see if I can't find her some better clothing.
Luckily, she doesn't.
As you're having that conversation, you hear voices from outside in the hall, outside the library. And you see Agnes Person sort of descending the stairs, along with a cleaner-looking May. And she's wearing a dress that is very unlike the dress she was wearing previously. Like, it's about a decade out of fashion. The sleeves, I don't know how well Augustus follows women's fashion, but it's not the latest fashion. But it is a very sort of respectable upper-class dress in dark colours. The kind of thing, it's a little more showy, I think, than what you'd imagine Maddie wearing, what you've seen Maddie wearing in the past. And she goes, I hope this is okay. It was in one of the wardrobes upstairs. Agnes here said I could borrow it until we
Yeah, you're good.
find some
That's great. It's
more suitable
good. Do you feel better?
clothing. I'm very confused still about this whole thing. Like, you can't just
What?
have servants. I don't know how.
You just ask them to help you out nicely and you treat them like human beings.
Yeah, but what do I do?
What do? I told you. You're going to earn your keep. You're going to learn to read and write.
Right.
And then after
You
that,
basically
And then
just
what?
picked her up and chop her here and be like, yeah, now we done?
no! I live here too!
Fair.
What
So-
we're like. This is not
Okay,
where I
here-
imagined you living.
This is what, moved up in the world. Okay, let me explain this to you. Okay, this is a big house,
Yeah.
and it's filled with servants who we treat well and we pay well. Okay, people who help us do what we do. You know what I do. I've told you what I do. Okay, all right, and then also in the house there are a bunch of nerds like Dr. Mortimer and Johann. They do nerdy stuff that makes me mad, risks my life, okay? And then we go out and we try to help people. And then we put money into the house so it can continue to give us a place to eat and sleep, especially the scones, do our job, and then occasionally we have fun. That's what we do. So, right. I took you here because I felt bad, and I thought that you deserved a better life.
Is this some kind of cult?
No, I hate cults. When I find cultists, I give them the hands.
Alright,
They're a bunch of nerds.
Well,
because I knew some people who used to live down the river who, accepted an offer to go live in a big fancy house, and I never saw any of them again.
Right? No,
Belfonts.
we don't do that.
Yeah,
So
they went
you
to
ha-
live
you-
to Belfonts. Belfont was always looking for people.
Oh, okay. So
You
you
know that?
probably have a lot of information. And Dr. Mortimer is going to ask you some questions, and Johann's going to do whatever the hell it is that he does. Theoretically.
be wealthy.
Yeah, exactly. Glad your dad worked so hard. You're right. He's going to be wealthy. And then I'm going to be the actual working stiff here who does stuff. Ta-da, you're at home.
Right. And you just
You're
want
going to learn.
me to tell
to
you
read
shit.
and write. Yeah, about Maddie, about...
Look, I don't know that much
Franco.
about Maddie. Like, I met her a couple of times. Like, she was a friend of Maxwell's, back before Maxwell.
You...
I don't know what
okay.
happened to Maxwell. He just kind of stopped turning up one day.
It's probably on fire or dead. Like, look, this is what
Yeah.
I learned. When I first got here, and they would reference somebody that I had never met, there's a 75% chance that they were either dead or insane. The other 25% were people who just left the country because they were like, nope, don't need to be here. Okay, so I don't know who that is, so he's probably dead
Alright.
or in the loony bin
Fair enough. Anyway,
or
yeah.
with Johann's mother.
I used to sell him stuff, and then I got something that'd been dropped by one of the Bellefonts, got mixed up, spent the next 5 years trying to hide from Bellefonts and people who work for Bellefonts, until the Bellefonts all disappeared.
Oh, big shame.
Yeah, the house blew up.
I don't have no idea how that happened.
And then things calmed down a bit, but even with the Bellefonts gone, there's, always weird stuff happening down by the river. And,
Right, you're going to ask you questions about the river and stuff that you saw. Look, here's the thing, okay? You're a smart, resourceful person. And you know more than you think you do. At least about this stuff. So, least we can do is feed you, give you a good place to live, and whatever. You don't have to stay here. I didn't have a plan to take you here. I just did it on a whim. That's how I know it was a good idea.
Don't think I've ever been inside a house this nice.
I had never been in a house this nice that I had not broken into before here.
And I can just stay here?
Yeah.
Want to? It's possible.
You don't have to.
What we do is we deal with anything weird that's dangerous for normal people.
Yeah, nerd shit.
And dealing with that stuff is dangerous.
Yeah.
That needs to be something you're aware of before you
Yeah.
jump on that boat.
You lived out on, near the fish people and all kinds of weird cult stuff too, so you have a fairly good grasp of what it is.
Not that many. Look, there's just some blokes down by the docks who, chuck a few things in the water and say a few words. I stay out their way. And then sometimes, whatever it is that lives in the water comes swimming up and has a nice little chat. And I really stay out of the way then.
Good instincts. So, have you met a snake person?
Don't think so.
That is actually the correct answer. Huh. Well, yeah. Anyway, all this talking has made me thirsty. And I hate water and love whiskey. So I'm going to go have a bunch of whiskey and nurse this tooth. Mortimer, do I need to go to a dentist to get this tooth put back in?
I'm sure a dentist will be able to do something for you. I'm not sure what. But, I'll see what I can do. I'll just carry on basic medicine and treatment and stitch it up if possible.
You did great with my lip. I'll probably show up at the dentist tomorrow drunk, as is tradition, as is custom. So,
I'm not sure what the dentistry skills at this time were like, so
Neither do I. I have to look it up at
they
some
could
point.
do whether it's a good idea or a bad
You
idea.
can get a false tooth, definitely, failing all else, but...
Very likely that's what we'd go for.
Mortimer, do you have a false tooth?
No, I don't.
I mean, you've got your actual tooth, so perfect false tooth.
It's true.
Whether
Johann.
fit
Oh,
that,
sorry.
I don't. If I could fit that, I'd fit that, but I don't know.
I don't know that Mortimer necessarily has dentistry skills. You're more of a,
Keep someone alive.
combat medic, keep someone alive sort
Yeah.
of doctor, aren't you?
You think I'd be okay to eat scones for the rest of the night? Maybe some ham?
Very likely. But just try to eat on the other side.
Yeah. Okay, alright. So anyway,
And I'm sure whiskey will help.
So yeah, whilst Augustus and Mortimer are discussing dentistry, Johann, you said you'd set the book to one side. Are you sort of asking James to go put it back in the safe, or are you keeping it for the time being?
I mean, as long as I'm still here, I can still read a bit in it, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's been really interesting. I know better, but it's been really, really interesting.
Yeah, so you still got the book, and you can carry on reading
Maybe
it if no one
that's
stops
even
you.
really-
For now, you have lost the sanity roll from it, so you're just sort of slowly sort of gathering up that information, reading through the lists of cults and names of cults. Unless anyone stops you from reading this or interrupts you with anything, you will pass through discussions of... There's not really much discussion of cults specifically sort of London-based. A lot sort of more generic sort of tales of cults from around the world, various places. There is mention of the cult of Dagon and lots of mention of worship of the sea and all sorts of things that dwell in the sea. There is discussion of the cult of the Horned Man. There is discussion of all sorts of strange sounded entities, including a mention of the Skinless One, a rather obscure and unknown cult that crops up from time to time in history.
I'll take down
But
some
more
notes.
specifically, it mentions that it has possibly some roots in Constantinople or perhaps even further east. There's little information on it remaining, but it's a mention that what information there is on it is likely to dwell within something called the Sedefka Scrolls.
All right. Sedefka Scrolls. Okay.
Which are long lost.
And there's no hint on where they were lost, when they were lost. Went down in the Library of Alexandria, something like that.
They're newer than that. They discusses them as being sort of 11th, 12th century rather than... They're not ancient, they're moderately ancient.
Well, there's been a lot of fighting in between those years, now and then. And scrolls aren't particularly fireproof.
No. The only sort of description or mention of them describes that they were supposedly written on human skin.
Great. Well, I'm gonna write down Sedefka Scrolls. Human skin, question mark, underlined, and just put that in, like a reading mark into the book.
Is this happening whilst Mortimer's nearby? I'm just wondering if I would notice him writing
Well, it
that
depends
word.
so this is taking some time as he's carrying on reading through this book.
But
After
I was
the
also
discussion
treating-
on dentistry, what are Mortimer and Augustus up to?
Augustus is going through his notes, trying to find some link between, and it's not going to work, but all this occult stuff. In his mind, all this stuff that they do here is tied to one another. Like, it's all the same thing. So he's just getting bombed with whiskey, munching scones and ham, going over his notes, but otherwise being an incredibly, oddly enough, pleasant chap.
Okay.
I think,
Make me an intelligence roll. If you roll really high, really low, there might be some moment of light bulb strings coming together here. I will get back to you in a moment with that. You're sort of there, sort of drinking and thinking and collecting this all together.
sufficing.
Yes.
I think Mortimer will try to find James because he wishes to speak with him about some of the items in the safe.
Okay. Are you calling him into the library where the others are, or are you going to find him elsewhere in
Just
the
head
house?
towards where I believe he is and call for him.
Yes, sir?
I'm sorry to bother you, but with Maddie not being around so much these days, and not many members of the society, I was concerned about some of the items that were being kept here, that they were not labelled up with the warning labels they needed.
I don't think anything ever had warning labels on it, to be totally honest. Mostly what Miss Carter and Lady Irene did was move stuff off the shelf in the library into the safe, which I think they saw as
Yes, there's
warning enough.
item in particular I know is extraordinarily dangerous, and it would be a very bad idea for someone to look at it. It's complicated, but I just want to ensure that there's enough warning labels on the relevant things.
Which item is that?
There'll be a cube.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the cube is well wrapped up.
Would it be possible to have a quick look so I can put labels?
No. I'm sorry, sir, but no one's looking at the cube.
Oh, I've got no plan to look at the cube. I plan to put a label on the outside of the bag it's sealed in to make sure nobody looks in it.
Give me a persuasion roll here. I think you can...
Oh, persuade, not charm?
Oh, charm, if you feel more persuading, but I'll accept the charm.
Well, I don't know what... I know I've got charm, but I haven't... If I get a tick on persuade, that's good. But no.
So, yeah. I'll accept charm if you're trying
Just a
to wiggle your way
success.
through to him.
I do know him, so I have been back and
Look,
forth sometimes.
alright, I'll unlock the safe, but... Look, the stuff in there, it's...
Oh, I know the stuff's dangerous. There's a reason why it's there.
I don't even know what some of that stuff does.
Oh, I've got an idea what most of that stuff does, which is why I'm worried about some...
Mortimer would know what the stuff does that he's encountered. I don't think it was ever fully discussed, some of the other things.
I do know there's a mist creature in a bottle, because
Yes.
Maddie told it when I was introduced to the society.
Okay, yeah.
I've just see. I've got a list. Strange enough. Let's see. The only things in there that I would notice or know is the cube, which will be in a bag.
Yes.
Up.
Yeah, he opens it up, and you can see there's this bundle
Sealed
wrapped up,
tightly.
just tied around with rope and sack, and then shoved in a second sack.
Yeah, I'll probably put a warning label on that, just a tag written, do not look into the cube. And then I'll put in after that, soul stealing. And what was the name of the world or creature it was to do with? It was, I can't remember.
Give me an intelligence roll if you want a reminder.
I've got it somewhere in my notes, but let's see, just intelligence. Success. I'll just write that on it.
Jacob, it was the Yakubian.
Yeah, I'll write that on. The bottle, I believe...
All you know about that is Maddie said there's a bottle with a mist monster in it, and there's this little silver bottle.
Yeah, I'll put a tag on
Elegant
that.
engraving on it.
Yeah, what is the engraving in? It's not Latin, is it? It was Egyptian. No, it wasn't Egyptian.
It was...
It was Latin, I think.
The bottle
We seal with heat or something, or...
was in French, I believe.
Oh, sorry.
If I'm remembering rightly. I would have to go back and check because that was the very first section.
Do you want me to do a French roll?
It's been a while.
I am going to admit that doing a French roll currently will not help you until I find the notes that have the answer on it.
No, it's no problem. We'll do that another day once we know. Yeah, I'll put a label on that. Do not open. And I think, other than the, there's a load of tablets, isn't there? There's a melted.
There is a lump of molten lead, which you have no idea what that's about. And there are a series of lead tablets with Latin engravings on.
Which Latin?
Latin.
May I do a Latin roll just to get an idea what they are?
Yes, you may.
No, that's a fail.
No.
I'll just ignore that.
They're fairly faded and, it's not a nice clean engraving. Also, it's a little more in the style of sort of Latin stone carvings where they like to smoosh together letters and leave out
True, but I don't know what those are anyway, so... There was... I don't know if Maddie locked this up. A bottle of silver powder.
It's not in there.
It won't be in there. That was from Harley. Actually, we got it at either his office or his house.
Wherever it is, it's not currently in the safe.
That's okay. That's all the stuff I know about.
I'm not sure that Maddie necessarily had that. I think Mortimer had that.
I think Maddie... took it, but we had it in the library, so very likely it's on a shelf in the library.
Maybe.
It was something about revealing that which was unseen. It was Egyptian.
Thus for seeing invisible things. Which...
Yeah, we didn't take it on the train with us. Or we forgot about it.
You forgot, yeah. You didn't have it with you when you fought the invisible thing. Well, that's all I remember.
Yes. But,
so yeah, so Mortimer, you're busy writing labels and labelling this up.
Well, I'm just doing that. I'm not doing anything majorly suspicious.
James sort of watching you.
Was there anything else, James, that Miss Carter brought back which was unusual? That
most of it, she hid some stuff away.
A painting which no one should look at.
Oh, there's a painting. That's turned around. That's in.
Yeah, that's the best thing
in
for
the
that.
office. It's that he points to the wall where you can see the back of a painting.
Yeah, I know that painting. Unfortunately,
we don't dust the other side. Look, not about any of the stuff in the safe. He glances back to the door. Something else I need to talk about. Well, we need to necessarily, but look, Augustus keeps asking about Franco.
Yeah, he was good friends with him.
Could you, I don't know, try and stop him? Like, redirect it, stop him asking?
Is there something you're not telling me? Last time...
Franco is dead. Franco is not coming back. Right?
From what I'd heard from the conversation so far, there was... he'd been changed.
Just let him think, I don't know. Just, please.
I'll see what I can do.
Try and, stop him asking too many questions.
I shall see what I can do. I believe, we'll worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'll have a word with Mr. Augustus Green and see what can be done. Because having said that, I did, last I saw, Franco was in Paris. Then he vanished and didn't make the train.
Yeah, so you know more about what happened than I do, but look. He's dead.
Can I do a psychology roll?
Yes, you can.
Not very good with this, but you never know. Success. I'm trying to see if there's...
He seems really nervous about this.
Is it sort of
there's
more...
a little sort of tremor in his hand. He keeps sort of glancing over his shoulder. He definitely knows more than what he's saying.
I think I'll have to find out a bit more on another day. He hasn't lied to me, though. I'm assuming...
I mean, you can't tell if someone's lying necessarily or not. You can tell if they're nervous or if they're upset.
I wasn't sure if psychology rolls you can tell if someone's lying to you.
No, they're not. It's not a lie detector.
No, that's a shame. Okay, that's no problem. But, there's a lot of strange things been going on. I mean, Miss Carter had a number of books, which I had a number of books as well. We were meant to do an exchange, but I also know Miss Carter's very particular about the books she had not leaving the house.
You know, until Miss Carter comes back, the books stay in the house.
Oh, I think they should stay in the house anyhow.
When Miss Carter comes back, then, you can discuss with her anything about book swaps. I think for now, they stay in the house.
Seems fair enough. I'm pretty sure even when she returns, the books won't leave the house.
No. I mean, she used to take some of them out and about, but... Question for her return.
No problem. I just wanted to make sure that the items that were here were marked up with a sufficient warning labels.
Well, then let's get this locked back up again.
So definitely. And
He tucks the key away. So, meanwhile, back in the other room, Johann has been reading his book, and Augustus, you've been drinking and thinking. Trying to tie all this together. And it does not tie together. You cannot make it all make sense. You try and sort of slot it in and find one cause behind anything, but it does seem like yes, it seems that there are snake people hiding in London. They're up to something. You know that there are fish people who took Franco somehow, that are lurking in the river. And possibly also Paris, from what other people have been saying. But then, this doesn't tie in with... There's also the sorcerer guy and the murders, and that, as far as you can tell, doesn't seem to involve fish or lizards. That seems to be its whole other thing.
Okay, so this is important for Augustus, because he's now, in this moment, truly understands the scope of all of the stuff that the Esoteric Society does. Like, he was thinking like, oh, we'll kill enough fish people and then one of them will tell us something and then we can move on to snake people, and like almost like they were like organized crime or something. And so he puts down his glass, stands up, and he goes to look for Mortimer.
And you find Mortimer... Actually, make me a luck roll, please, Augustus.
A what roll?
A luck roll.
A luck,
L-U-C.
okay.
No. You find Augustus just as James is locking up the safe.
Mortimer.
Yes, how can I help?
I need to tell you something. Okay. Today, after I realized that my good friend Franco is dead, he's gone, or fish person, which means he basically is dead anyway. I thought that there was some magic cure for all of this shit. Like, if we beat the fish person, or we conquered that asshole from the sanitarium that I really still want to stomp on his head, or stop the snake people, whatever it is, that it would take care of everything, right? Like, it was just one problem. Now I understand that we have multiple different problems that sometimes can overlap.
Most certainly. I mean, the way I found it, it's sort of like firefighting. I don't believe we will reach a point where it'll end. But the problem is, whilst we're firefighting, we're also on fire. We seem to be losing ourselves the more we look into this. The better we get at dealing with this, the less of us we are. We'd lose ourselves. I've spent quite a bit of time looking into this, and I've started to lose my mind. I know it. There's nothing I can do other than try and slow it, but my mind's going.
Well, I told Franco I was going to take care of him. And then, I missed the trip on the train, and then that's when my business started picking up, and I kept telling myself, oh, they're only across town. They're only across town. And my business did better, and I relocated. It's like, look, it'll be easy to get to them. It's only a 30-minute walk. And then I moved up into a nicer spot. And it's like, oh, it's only a 15-minute walk. I got time. And I come back, and Franco's gone, and he's never coming back. And I talked to his brother today, and his brother said that on some level, his brother knows that his baby brother ain't coming back, but he just is happy to pretend that his brother went to France, is wildly successful there, and just moved on from this hellhole. So I know in my heart, I don't know it, but I suspect in my heart that Maddie's gone. And the thing about these places, I think, is that
you know that Maddie's gone.
Oh yeah. I do know. I know in my heart and in my mind, sorry, that was the whiskey talking. All those scones still can't stave off the whiskey. 12 scones. 12 scones. Those are my friends, and I'm not going to promise to keep you alive. It's one, that promise has not held up. Two, you do some stupid shit from time to time, which I respect. We're doing so badly that I'm even starting to like Johann. And that guy's horrible.
You're welcome.
Shut up.
I'm assuming you're saying this in earshot of him as well.
I'm incredibly loud and drunk.
I like the idea that you're just having this dry, drunken conversation. Johann just looks up from his book.
Yeah, I've been besmirched. So this is what I'm going to do. Like, you're the brains of the operation. I'm the muscle, and Johann's the money, I guess. I don't know. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, you tell me what needs done, and I'll do it. I'll give you my opinion. And after that, it is what it is. You know, I changed my life. And, you know, in a weird way, I'm better off having been in the Esoteric Society. Which is why I sold my apartment and am now moving in full time.
Probably a good idea. This house has been empty for quite some time.
Yeah. I should probably tell James that. I'm gonna go do that.
You go for it.
James!
Who else is gonna pester the servants, man?
Yes, sir.
I'm moving in full time.
And you see James sort of look from Augustus over to Mortimer and then over to Johann with a look in his eyes that requires no psychology roll to read. It essentially says, please help me. Oh dear God, please help me.
Well, with Miss Carter not around and Franco very likely dead,
He's a fish man. He's gone.
then it's probably best that we have some society members still resident here. I had considered moving in myself as well.
You would be most welcome, sir.
Am I not most welcome?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
James, I have some good news. This will help. I have sold my apartment, my flat. I owned it. And I have been able to hire some people for my business, and I very rarely have to work. I just do the paperwork and oversee things. So I'm making a good bit of money, which I can then donate to the society.
That would help balance the books.
Yeah. Now, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you're not ready for this question. I can't hit you with it, James. You're not ready.
I do have a question for everyone, actually.
Oh no.
Well, on my travels, I purchased a number of items in Constantinople. My plan was to perhaps do something along the lines of a charity auction in London on my return. There's some exotic items purchased from Constantinople that are difficult to get hold of here, and I was considering perhaps some sort of charity auction. Whether it'd be a good idea to host something in this building along those lines, introduce everyone to society to, well, members of society. My sister has contacts, and we have a number of people we haven't spoken with for some time. We can invite them. This could be a good way to get us in the good books of the police, because it would help generate funds for the society, but we could also use it to generate funds for, I believe, the widows and orphans funds that the charity at the police have.
We need to give some money to the Barnes family.
Oh, this will generate that sort of thing.
That sounds great.
Be a good idea to perhaps host it here. I'm not sure, James, you'd be the best person who knows about this house.
I mean, when Sir John lived here, he did used to host parties for his friends. In fact, it was a party when, shortly after Miss Carter first arrived, where I guess the society was first formed. So this is not an unknown.
Did Miss Carter have a ward of some sort?
Yes, Miss Elsie Smith. She's out at the country estate for the time being until.
It might be a good opportunity. That would be for Elsie to take this auction as an opportunity to meet everyone, I suppose.
Yeah, I can send a letter to her.
But it'll take a
To her
long time.
governess.
to
I know she
organise.
was hesitant about Elsie spending too much time here until she was old
Ready.
enough to understand the risks of.
Oh, there's no rush for this. It'll take a long time to organise. I need to. Probably, I'd like to speak to Inspector Barnes and see if I can get an endorsement from him. Perhaps get some favourable press for
Inspector Thorne.
Oh, it's Thorne, sorry.
Oh, I have a question, James.
Yeah. Yes.
I need to. I need to be less brutish and more civilized.
I'm
So-
sure someone could be found to give elocution lessons.
Not me.
No, not
I-
Johann. He's horrible and worthless and he smells. No, it's gonna be you, James.
Sir, I am just a butler. I was going to suggest Hannon moves in high society, or Dr. Davenport as well. His sister is
Single?
well connected and married to a
Lord of the Realm.
lord.
I've killed one. I can kill it. Just a joke. Anyway, well, James, but as a butler, you know all the rules.
I can go over a few of the rules with you, sir.
Can you help me with my attire?
Yeah, that I can definitely help with, sir.
Could you take me to a tailor?
Yes, sir.
Could you take me to a tailor who might be patient with me?
Yes, sir. I believe I can think of a suitable tailor.
Okay.
The thing about tailors is they're often patient if the money's good.
Yes.
Augustus has money, not like money, but good money. Augustus saves.
You'd be
Mostly.
a paying customer, so
Yes, I'm sure
Understood.
something can be arranged.
But just because I'm more civilized doesn't mean I'm not Augustus. Like, you don't disrespect me. You understand what I'm
Sir,
saying?
I would not deem it disrespecting any member of the society.
Johann,
Yes.
is there anything you'd like me to look up for you? Because I have a number of books that are, I'll say, dangerous to read that I've fully studied.
I think
In particular, you mentioned I could look up the Skinless One or something, or that cult you mentioned. It's very unlikely I'll find it.
I think I'm gonna write. I'm gonna take out a piece of paper that I wrote my notes on. The Sedefkar scrolls, if you can find anything on those. The
Actually,
skinless one.
I can provide you some information straight away.
Oh.
On Sedefkar, I know of that name, I recognise it. When I was in Constantinople, strange enough, I was searching a few libraries and museums there, passing the time.
Mhm.
It popped up, it belonged to a Turkish man who lived in the 11th century. He became extraordinarily wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
and then he caught a thief in his treasure room, had the person flayed to death so that he would die in front of the gold, and then he was hung on the city walls for some sort of crime during the fourth crusade. But I'll look it up for you. It's just Sedefkar. Actually, that might be. Remember that arm?
Yes.
Did you see the arm?
No. It was gone by the time
Ah, yes.
we met.
Unfortunately, yes. This arm belonged to something called the Sedefkar Simulacrum, a statue of some fashion, or something along those lines. It was a very unusual item because the patterns on it seemed to move. I tried at one point to trace them to see if I could compare it to other sculptures, and they seem to move and change slightly. It's like a dark green, but sometimes just black. It seemed hollow and articulated in that the fingers and the joints could move, and it's probably hollow enough to fit someone's arm in.
Or, a scroll. If you tied it in a statue.
But I shall definitely look up the information. Yeah. I'll see what I can find out, but probably not tonight.
Yeah, I still have reading to do.
Lots
there
of
needs
reading.
to be somebody that has read that thing. And since Miss Carter is no longer available.
So yes, you've got
You
reading
said
to
about
do.
a son.
Oh, sorry, you go.
My apologies. Johann, you're gonna have to talk to me about that sun thing, okay?
Yeah, I don't intend to actually learn how to do that.
But I don't understand it. But anyway, the whiskey's really treating me good right now, so I'm gonna...
Leave me some, please.
Oh yeah, I pull out a very large flask. Here you go.
Thanks.
It is incredibly good, because the society paid for it.
So yes, as the whiskey is drunk and more research is planned, I think that is a fair enough point to end things for today. As Augustus Green has moved into 18 Grosvenor Square, along with, of all people, May, the former mudlark. A woman about whom you know almost nothing.
What could possibly go wrong, right?
What could possibly go wrong, indeed?